Hey guys, today we're going to talk about My Little Pony, the collectible card game. Now this is a game I bought for my daughters for Christmas, but I've actually been pretty impressed with it. This is one of the few games that my wife will almost always be willing to play. It's a very quick, easy, kind of non-confrontational collectible card game. So I thought I would kind of show you how to play by going through a sample game, or at least part of a sample game. So first let's look at what each player needs to play the game. So you have to have, first of all, you have to have a main character card, which right now I think there are 6 main characters. If you buy the theme decks, they each come with 2, and then there's a 2-player starter deck that comes with the other 2. Those are the only place to get them. You don't get them in the booster packs or whatever. So each main character card usually starts with a 1. I think they're all a 1 power, and then they all have a home limit, which is how many ponies can be in your home area, which we'll go over that as it comes up. And then they have this thing where some trigger that will let you flip the card over. So in this case, it's when you confront this card's problem with more power than required, turn this card over. This is Applejack, by the way. So when you do that, then you flip the card and it goes to its boosted side. And usually it's a lot more powerful, and it also has some special abilities, and it has a higher home limit. So I found in my limited experience with the game, flipping your main character as early as possible is a good strategy. You definitely, especially this extra power and that extra home limit, can make a big difference in the game. So you have to. Every player has to have a main character card, and then both players will need a 45 card draw deck. And in this game I'm going to be using mostly, this is the theme deck, the Applejack and Rarity theme decks, but they've been slightly customized with the booster packs. I think we have a couple of booster packs, and I took a couple of cards out of each one. There's really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of need to buy a bunch of booster packs, at least in my opinion, right now. I mean, we've had a lot of fun with just the starter deck. So each player has a 45 card draw deck, and then a 10 card problem deck. Now this is Rarity's problem deck, but you're going to start the game with 1 starting problem out, and then the other 9 problem cards you're going to shuffle up and put underneath that. And then you're going to set the game up like this. So that's Rarity over there I'm playing against. This is my problem deck over here, and that's my opponent's problem deck there. This is a little score tracker that comes with the theme sets, and you get. So this shows you your score, and this is the number of tokens that you get per turn, action tokens. Now you're going to get, each player is going to get a number of action tokens each turn equal to the highest out of both players. So let's say if I was at 0 but my opponent was at 4, then both players would actually be getting 3 action point tokens per turn. So this is just a little slider. You could keep track of this with paper or whatever, but it's pretty handy. We've been using it. So, okay, so both players start with a score of 0, which means we're going to get 2 action tokens per turn. Okay, so you're going to start by drawing 6 cards. And let's look at these cards. So there are a couple different kinds of cards. The most common type of card is a pony, which this is drill bit. It's an example of a pony. Ponies have a power up here and a type. In this case, it's the apple power. I'm sure these have names, but I don't know what they are. Then they also have a cost. So to play drill bit, I'm going to have to pay 4 action tokens, and I have to already have a pony on the board. I have to have ponies on the board that total up to 2 apple power. So that means you're basically not going to be able to just play him right away, because he's a powerful card. He's a 3 power. And then he has also some special abilities here. Let's see. Here's Mayor Mare. Okay, so those are pony cards. This is called an event card. Basically, you're just going to play this card, and whatever it says happens, and then it goes away. And this has a cost of 1. And then that's another pony. Okay. So the phases of the turn are the draw phase, which everyone's going to draw one, or I'm going to draw one card. Although since I'm the first player and this is the first turn, I'm not going to draw a card. But usually on this point in the turn, I would draw a card. Then I would refresh any exhausted ponies, which several of the cards will cause you to exhaust a friend or whatever. They're sometimes called ponies, sometimes called friends. And so if you had any that were exhausted, you'd untap them basically at this point. Then you're going to have the troublemaker phase, which we'll talk about that later. Right now there's not any troublemaker, so nothing happens. And then you're going to have your main phase. So I have 2 action tokens, like I said. Now the game comes with these little tiny token things, but they're pretty worthless. We've been using these beads. I think I bought them at Tuesday morning or something for a couple bucks. They work pretty well. Okay, so now I have 2 action tokens and I'm going to be able to play something. So right away, my Applejack's only a 1 apple, so I can't play, actually I can't play drill bit like we saw, and I can't play mayor because I don't have that. So that's going to leave me, I can play apple cobbler or cherry's jubilee, or I could play this event, and then I can't afford these. So why would I want to play it? Well, okay, so basically what you're trying to do, you're going to gain points by confronting a problem. So you confront a problem, depends on the problem. So let's look at this problem card. Okay, this is one of my starting problems. It's a 1-point problem. So it needs 1 apple power and 1 not apple power. So basically any power that's not apple. And if I can have ponies or friends at that problem that add up to that, then I will be confronting this problem and I'll score a point every turn as long as I'm confronting that problem. Plus, if I'm the first person to confront this problem, I'll get the bonus points, which in this case is 1. Now the other problem, so this is my opponent's problem. See how it's, see how it's flipped towards my opponent. In this case, I just need 4 of any power to confront this problem. Okay, so let's see. So I need 1 apple and 1 not apple. So okay, before we play any cards, let's look at the things we can do on our turn. We have these action tokens. We can spend. We can play a pony from our hand, which has the cost. We could play an event from our hand, which has the cost. Or we could spend 2 action tokens to move our main pony to one of these problems. Or let's say we had a pony over here. We could spend two action tokens to move that pony over here, like that. And then also we could spend an action token to draw a card. If we didn't have any cards that we liked, we could spend an action token to draw a card. Or we could spend an action token to play a troublemaker, which we'll see later on as the troublemakers come into effect. Okay, so I said before that we want to flip this as soon as possible. So we do that by confronting a card's problem with more power than required. Not sure if that's going to happen right away. So let's just play Cherry's Jubilee. So we'll pay 1 action token, and we'll play her to either problem. And so let's play her to this problem. Okay, so I could play Apple Cobbler. But I think it might be better for me to save my last action token. So now the next phase after your main phase is the scoring phase. Am I confronting this problem? No, I'm not. I still need a card that's not an apple. Am I confronting that problem? No, I'm not, so I don't get any points. And now it's my opponent's turn. Okay, so my opponent added Sugar Twist, which is a 2-power pony, over here to my problem, but did not play anything on her problem. So my turn, my second turn, I'll draw a card. We're both still at 0 score, so we get 2 action tokens. Now notice I still had 1 left over from last turn, so that I have a total of 3. Let's see, what did I draw? Mint Julep, which needs 2 purple, which I don't have any purple, so I cannot play that. Okay, so once again I'm trying to get more power than needed. I can't afford Lady Justice, unfortunately, but I think what I might see immediately, you can see there's some difficult decisions in this game. It's a simple game, but what to do? Okay. I think I will actually spend 1 to draw a card. I don't usually do that, but hey, it looks like it paid off. I drew Blue Moon, which has a cost of 2. He's a unicorn and he's purple. So now I can spend my other 2 action tokens to play Blue Moon on this problem. Okay, so that's the end of my action turn. Now we'll go to score phase, and you can see that I've got 1 and 2, which beats the problem, defeats the problem, which means I score 1 point for confronting the problem and another point for being the first person to confront that problem. So that moves me up to 2 points and lets us both get 3 action tokens. So now my opponent will go. Okay, so if my opponent played her main pony, moved her main pony to her starting problem, and then played Pearly Stitch to my problem, giving her 3 power there, not confronting it, and 1 here, not confronting that. So my turn, draw a card, get Professor Nay, Professor Nye. Still at 3 action tokens. So what I'll probably do, maybe this isn't the best strategy, but I will pay 2 to move Applejack over there. Now I still have 1. I'd like to get a pony over on the other problem. So the only pony that costs 1 is this guy, which I could play him. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Play 1 to play him there, so that I at least have something over there in case my opponent confronts it this turn. Okay, so I get another point because I'm still confronting this problem, so I'm up to 3 points now. Plus, Applejack says when you confront this card's problem with more power than required, which I am, I get to flip it. So now Applejack is boosted. Okay, that's my turn, my opponent's turn. Okay, so my opponent is having trouble getting blue cards out, so didn't do anything on this problem, but played this card to this problem, which gives her 2, 3, 4 power, which is confronting this problem, so she scores a point. But now, since both players are confronting the same problem, we are going to do what's called a face-off. Now the way you do a face-off is you flip the top card of your deck over, and you take the power of that card and you add all the ponies on that problem. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for me. And then my opponent, meanwhile, will be doing the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I win the face-off, which means I score the bonus points again. So that brings me up to 4 points. Now all the ponies that are on that problem will go home, and the cards that you flipped as part of the face-off go to the bottom of your deck. So that one will go to the bottom of my deck. Now I have a home limit of 4, and I only have 2 ponies, so I'm good. My opponent has a home limit of 3, and she only has 3 ponies there, so she's good. Then this problem gets flipped over, put on the bottom of the problem deck, and the next problem gets turned over. Okay, so this is an interesting one. This is not a starting problem, which means it has a higher bonus usually, and this has a bonus of 2, but it's going to be a little more difficult. I need 3 purple and 2 not purple, so that's a lot more power required, and see, my opponent would need 6 to confront that problem. Okay, so that was my opponent's score phase. Now it is time for my turn. I'm at 4, I think she's at 1, so we still get 3. I draw a card, See what I got? I got too much pie. Play on a friend, this friend gets -5 power during the score phase. So I'd actually play that on my opponent's pony, and that would give them less power, give her less power on her turn. Let's see. What do I want to do here? So, so I think I should spend 2 to move Applejack over here, which would let me, move this down, which would let me confront that problem and score a couple points. And then for that last one, would it be worth getting another pony out on the board? I probably should. So I will play Apple Cobbler. Actually, no, I think I'll save her. I'll save it. Okay, so I'll save my last token. Okay, so now the score phase. I am confronting this problem, so I get 1 point for confronting it, plus I'm the first person to confront it, so I get 2 points. So it brings me up to 6. And now it is my opponent's turn. Okay, so during my opponent's turn, she was very mean and played a troublemaker card, as she usually is pretty mean. Troublemakers you pay 1 action token, play them face down on either problem, and what that basically does is that makes it where I cannot confront this problem until I deal with this troublemaker. Okay, so it's my turn. I get 4 action tokens, plus the 1 I had left over from last time. Gives me 5 action tokens. I draw a card. Now you have a hand limit of 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to have to play one this turn. Now after I draw a card, and I would flip over or untap any exhausted friends, the troublemaker phase happens. And what happens in the troublemaker phase is you flip the troublemaker. Now this is a yellow para sprite, which is really annoying, and what this says is at the start of your opponent's troublemaker phase, they discard a random card. So that basically means that every turn that I do not, every turn while this is up, I'm going to have to discard a random card during the troublemaker phase, and that's pretty annoying. So it doesn't happen the first turn, because at least we play where it doesn't, because it says at the start of your opponent's troublemaker phase, and since this isn't the start anymore, I don't think it's supposed to affect the first turn, so it stays up. But that's still annoying, because this card is worth a lot of points and I want to get rid of it and I don't want to have to discard. So I'm probably going to want to put some ponies on that problem to confront that troublemaker. So I should be able to bring out some of my big guns since I have 5. So I think I will bring out Lady Justice. Your opponent's characters at this card's problem each get -1 power during face-offs, which would be nice, which will be nice as well. Okay, so that's 2, 4. Bring Lady Justice here. Now one thing I forgot to mention is that this troublemaker has a power of 4. So as you'll see, hopefully next turn, when you confront the troublemaker, it's going to be like a face-off. And so I'm going to flip a card, I'm going to add the power of that card to any of the ponies that I have at that problem, and then my opponent will flip a card, add that power to this troublemaker, and if I win, the troublemaker goes away, plus I get this bonus point here. But if I lose, I have to dismiss one of the ponies at that problem, which means make them go into my discard pile, so kind of go away for good. So, okay, so let's keep that in mind. I'd like to play one more. I have one more token, so I will pay it, and I'll bring Apple Cobbler there just to give me an even shot at winning this face-off next turn. Okay, so I'm still confronting this problem over here. Still confronting this problem, so I score 1 point, which brings me up to 7 points. Now it's my opponent's turn. Okay, so my opponent is having a lot of trouble getting that first blue card out. Like all the cards in her hand require at least one blue power, and she can't get that first blue power out. So she spent several tokens to draw, to dig for cards. Didn't really help. And then moved a whole ton of white ponies onto this problem. So she was actually confronting it and got 3 points out of it. So she's at 4 points. So even though it seems like this game is real one-sided, you can swing back and forth pretty quickly. So the score is currently 7 to me, 4 for her, and she's confronting that problem, but still can't confront her starting problem over there. So anyway, my turn. I'll draw a card. I'll take 4 action tokens. 2, 3, 4. Oh, I drew a troublemaker. I could play that on her. Okay, so first up is the troublemaker phase, so I have to lose a random card. Random card, random card, random card, random card. And okay, lost that. Now I can confront the troublemaker. So just like the face-off, I'm going to flip the top card of my deck. Ooh, good. So I get a 5 power. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my total is 9. My opponent flips a card for the troublemaker, and it's a 2. 2 plus 4 would be 6, so I would actually win the face-off and defeat the troublemaker. So the troublemaker goes into the discard, my opponent's discard pile. I score that bonus point, which gives me a total of 8, and now it's my turn. So let's see, I have the 3 purple power. I just need 1 more not purple power on that. Why don't we go big, right? We'll pay all 4 to play drill bit onto that problem. Okay, so now we get to see the last major part of the game, and that's called a double face-off. That happens when one player is confronting both problems. So in this case, I have the 3 purple and I have the 2 not purple, so I'm confronting that problem. And in this case, I have a total of 4 power, so I'm confronting that problem. What happens in a double face-off is it's the same as a face-off basically, but you're going to add all the ponies for all the problems. So I'll flip a card. I'll get 1 power for that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. My opponent will flip a card, gets 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so my opponent had 11 and I think I had 12, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I won just by 1 point. Phew! So what happens then is you get the highest bonus out of either problem. So in this case, 2. So I would get 2, so that would take me up to 10 points. Now all the ponies go home. Now my home limit is 4, so I'm going to have to dismiss some of these. Definitely don't want to dismiss Drill Bit. Definitely don't want to dismiss Lady Justice. Probably don't want to dismiss Blue Moon. And so which one of these should I keep? Maybe Professor Nay. So those 2 go away. Now my opponent also has to move all her ponies home. And she'd have to apply the home limit as well. And then both problems go to the bottom of the deck and we get 2 new problems. Okay, so I think that covers all the major concepts on the My Little Pony, the collectible card game. We basically continue playing that way until one player gets to 15 points and then they immediately win the game. So that's My Little Pony, the collectible card game. Now I know it's a collectible card game, so that's going to turn off some board gamers, and it's a My Little Pony game, so that's probably going to alienate some people while attracting others maybe. But you know, I tell you, my 8-year-old enjoys it. She's able to play no problem. It's a little too complicated for my 6-year-old, but like I said, my wife really enjoys it. My kids enjoy it, so that's a win in my book. And it's actually, you know, pretty fun game. So hopefully this has been helpful, and thanks for watching.